Hello guys, and we're back for another video on Go.2, Series 8. We did Series 7 and talked about Matt Smith era, and we talked about Time in the Doctor last week, so go and check out them videos if you haven't already. Yeah, let's just get into Series 8. We're into Peak Capaldi era now, so next week we'll talk about Series 9, and the week after, Series 10, and then we'll talk about Peak Capaldi's era. Then we move on to something completely different. But yeah, basically, if you haven't seen my videos before, we split the series in half. So on a Saturday, I normally release a video talking about the first half of the series. Then I split the video in half and we talk about the second part on a Wednesday, normally, roughly Wednesday to Thursday. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the video. So we're talking about Deep Breath till Kill the Moon. So yeah, we've got a lot of episodes to get through today. So let's just review them. So first up is Deep Breath. So obviously it's Peter Capaldi's first episode, brand new era, completely different tone to the 11th Doctor with the let's just say fairy tale-esque era of Matt Smith. Now we've got a darker grown, especially for Series 8 anyway. I mean, it changes throughout Peter Capaldi's era, but for Series 8 it's got more darker and more serious, and yeah, it's a different tone. So I can see why a few people may not like this, but I absolutely adore it because Pete Capaldi is my favourite Doctor, if you know from the channel. Yeah, I really enjoy Pete Capaldi, and let's just talk about this episode. So we start off with the dinosaur. The TARDIS is crash landing. It gets eaten by a dinosaur in the dinosaur era, and brings the TARDIS escapes, but brings the dinosaur along on the ride, and we have a dinosaur in Victorian era London. And yeah, it's quite an unusual thing. We're wondering how the hell it got there. Obviously, it's the Doctor. We also get to see Jenny, Strax and Vastra in action. These police are trying to investigate, and then Jenny starts doing some things. Vastra has this little gadget to do stuff, and Strax is just being comedic Strax, as always. Should I get the grenades? Yeah, they're just brilliant. I really enjoyed them throughout this episode. So we've got Jenny doesn't really do much. She's a servant more in this episode, but she has done stuff before. We've seen her in action, so we know what she's like. But yeah, Jenny's more calmed her down and been more of a servant. But like she's calmed down Clara and made her see sense. Whereas Vastra takes drastic action against Clara when she's judging 12 and puts on a veil saying, "You judging him?" and stuff like that. So she's more. Vastra is trying to be on side of the Doctor and make Clara see sense. And it's trying, it makes Clara see sense, it's making the new viewers see sense that the 12th Doctor is the same as the 11th Doctor. It's bringing the new viewers on board as much. And then Strax is just there for comedic value, as always, and that's a good thing. He's brilliant and he's amazing. I mean, yeah, the Sontarans should be ruthless and tyrants, but yeah, Strax just comedic, and we got to let him off because it's Strax, really, I think. What else we got? Yes, obviously the dinosaur, the Doctor, when he's in the coma, starts speaking dinosaur and translating the dinosaur, what it's saying and stuff. So we get an impact on that and a bit more experiment, because obviously the Doctor speaks horse, the Doctor speaks baby, so why can't he speak dinosaur as well? I mean, TARDIS is in sync with them. Yeah, so we have that. Then we also, with the TARDIS, and later on in the episode, we get a new look, a new era, a new feel to the TARDIS, because it's been redecorated a little bit. Clara doesn't like it. A little reference from the 2nd Doctor and the 10th Doctor there. Yeah. What else have we got in this episode? We got mainly Clara and 12 to talk about, but before that we have these robots from Series 2, actually, the Clockwork Droids, I think it's Clockwork Droids, from Series 2, Moffat's, I think, 2nd episode, when he first writ them, with Madame de Pompadour, and that little reference with the little slip saying Madame de Pompadour, but 12 can't remember because his head's all over the place. I'm sure he remembers after a while. Yeah, it was a nice little cameo reference, and to bring back a villain in a different new look, a new style, which can say you can bring back villains and change them up, as well as the amazing Cybermen or Daleks. You know, you always bring them back. Why can't you bring out another character, which is interesting to see. What else? Yeah, the Clockwork Droids are basically taking people for flesh, and they want to be in the Promised Land, which is a key thing for the series, building up the series arc of the Promised Land, which we later see Missy return when the main droid, gets killed. And did the Doctor push him, or did he fall? Who knows? Yeah, so we've got that aspect, and we've also got the aspect of the afterlife now with Missy bringing people from the dead and looking after them and stuff, which is later learning that Missy is who we later learn in the finale. If you haven't already, go and check that video of, well, watch the episode of how Missy's and who she is, because you should know by now. Yeah, so yeah, on that aspect, I think there's only 12 and Clara left now. Obviously, also bringing into the date with Missy, she writ the newspaper, and she also gave Clara the number in series 7 with Matt Smith. She gave the number to meet the 11th Doctor, and now she's made the Doctor and 12 stick together, so Missy's wants Clara part of her plans somehow. It don't pay off, but somehow it does. Yeah, now, as I've been saying, we're going to do Clara now. Clara is basically in denial she's seen all these other Doctors, so you'd think she'd be used to it, but she's not. And her best friend has suddenly changed, and she's got to get used to him. Why he's old? Why is he old when he's got a brand new face? And obviously we later learn about Pete Capaldi's face as a reason for the show, which is a good they actually gave a reason, which was nice, because obviously the 6th Doctor, Colin Baker, got back from the show, but we never got a reason for him, so it's quite nice we actually get a reason for 12. Yeah. Clara just basically learning how to handle this new Doctor. She doesn't know who he is. She doesn't know if he's good or bad, and she's just trying to learn how to handle him throughout the whole series. And then in series 9, obviously, their characters progress and they just love each other and besties. Yeah, Clara's denial with Jenny and Vastra. That was quite a nice scene to see. And when Vastra was criticising her, she got furious and angry and defended herself. Then we've also got 12 now, and 12 is running about the place, being crazy, as a Time Lord does when he's just regenerated. His mind's all over the place, but he's still on the hunt, still investigating what's happening to these murders. And the Dark Era certainly fits in with his character. And there's an old tramp that in this episode that actually is Sarah Jane Smith's, in real life, husband. Her husband was the old tramp, if you didn't know. There was a little clue for you. And yeah, obviously their Clockwork Droid versus 12, that was a quite nice dynamic to see. And yeah, really enjoyed the episode, 9 out of 10. Now we're into the Dalek, and yeah, basically there's a load of Daleks. The ship is hiding from the Dalek, and they have a Dalek in their ship hostage, and it's defunctioned, it's messed up, and they want to make the Dalek good somehow. And the Doctor from the last series, in Deep Breath, I did forget to mention that Matt Smith did a call in Deep Breath, and that made Clara emotional and finally showed 12 what respect he needed, and then they gone off together to get chips and coffee. And when the Doctor went to get coffee, he got distracted. He left Clara in Glasgow, and then 12 went off on his own adventure, and the Daleks are needing his help, so he goes back to get Clara, and she's at school now, she's doing her own thing, and it's like, that was 2 weeks ago, or whatever time he left her for. He's like, oh, really? And then they go off together, and he wants to know, is he a good man? And she doesn't know, and we don't know. I mean, he's completely, obviously we know he does right, and that's what he tries to be, so he is a good man in some aspects, but we are learning about him as much as Clara's learning about him with his new form, so yeah. So 12 is a lot more darker, a lot more stratical. As I'm trying to say is, he's a lot more like 7th Doctor, you know? He's not, apart from the bumbling around clownish look, he's more stratical, I can't say the word. Basically, he is, someone needs to die, he will do that to advantage to try and win, basically. He uses stratical thing. I'm just going to stop saying that word now, and yeah, let's get on to a different thing. So we have at the start of the episode, this woman about to die with her brother gets killed, then she's about to die and the TARDIS lands and saves her. Then we go onto the spaceship, learn about the Daleks, and the woman that played this soldier who lost her brother is from, I think it's called Meet Some. It's a comedy. She's a really intelligent, brilliant actor. She's in Meet Something. It's a comedian show, and I really enjoy it. I think it's a good. She does well with her character arc, I think, with obviously being a normal soldier. Then by the end, she's questioning the Doctor and challenging him throughout the episode, but then also showing the compassion. But she's a soldier, and at the end of the day, and the 12th Doctor won't take a soldier on board his TARDIS. We have that dynamic yet again of him hating soldiers, which is stuck around for so long because obviously the Time War. And beyond that, the soldiers in this are not the best, and the Daleks, well, they don't do anything. They just kill a few people. We actually get someone exterminating in the era, which we haven't really seen before in ages, which was annoying because the Daleks are meant to just shoot and ask questions later sort of thing, and they haven't done that in such a long time, so it was nice to see Daleks' deaths happen, like them killing things. But then again, the Dalek that they're inside, they get turned into minuscule people and start trying to upgrade the Dalek, make him happy and good and stuff like that. And they have problems along the way with nanogenes coming around or whatever, white blood cell things, trying to kill the people, which is a scientific thing, you know, we have that in our bodies, antibody things that try and kill bacterial diseases, and if there's people inside you, your body's going to try and get rid of them because they're not meant to be there. So that was a scientific real thing, I guess. The Dalek Rusty was then killing all the Daleks, basically, and that got rid of them. Then the Daleks went off thinking that they killed them all when they didn't, and the crew live happily ever after, but before that they were getting threatened by Daleks. That's basically the story, and 12 asking whether he's a good man or not, and then the Dalek versus 12 moment, really. And Clara as well, she sees him killing people to get a tactical advantage, and she slaps him, and then she makes him understand he's in the wrong. 7 out of 10, not the best story, and then we also have Danny Pink introduced in this story as well. And now on to Robot and Sherwood. It's basically Clara wanted to see Robin Hood, and 12th Doctor throughout the whole episode, even to the very end, he still denies it in some way, because Robin Hood's such a legend and we never know whether he's a real person or not, a fairy tale or not. And you can obviously see the fairy tale aspects. I mean, I love Robin Hood as a kid because there was a show called Robin Hood on BBC, and they had about 4 to 5 seasons. In fact, this is the Sheriff of Nottingham. This is the Sheriff of Nottingham throughout the series, if you can see him well. If you remember that as a kid watching up, that was Robin Hood. So I really enjoy Robin Hood as a kid, so I was very happy to see this happen in Doctor Who. My two favourite heroes as a kid growing up meeting each other. Obviously, the meeting wasn't the best. I mean, it was very comedic and built that way, but you just got to play along with it. I mean, it's a comedic episode. It's not meant for serious stuff, so there. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so Robin Hood in this, he's just a comedic, obvious version of Robin Hood. He's not the best one, but they have to do certain fairy tale aspects and make it real. So you have that. And you also have the Sheriff of Nottingham, which is not as good as this Sheriff of Nottingham who I met, but he has got his reasons. He just wants to rule the world, basically, and he has these alien robots that come along and help him who want to reach the Promised Land. Yet again, the Promised Land. It is a reoccurring theme throughout the episode up to the finale. Not less subtle as Rusty Davies did. You can obviously tell the Promised Land is a thing that's going to happen throughout each series. Then we have Clara and Robin Hood. That dynamic was quite nice and fun to meet. Robin Hood's Merry Men, yeah, they're not the best. I mean, they don't even have characters, really. Yeah, you have, oh, that one's Friar Tuck, that one's this, that one's that. Um, yeah, they're just cardboard cutouts. I mean, they don't do anything other than laugh and then steal people's items, and that's it. And scream, yes, go on, Robin Hood. That's it. So they're not irrelevant in this story. Um, the Sheriff of Nottingham has a duo against Robin Hood, his arch enemy, which 12 somehow thinks that Robin Hood is. I can see why he thinks he's fake, but he's working with the Sheriff of Nottingham now. Sheriff of Nottingham and Robin Hood are meant to be working together from 12's theory, which later is not a theory and it's not true. Clara gets captured by the sheriff, and 12th Doctor and Robin Hood are locked up in this cell, and that is a funny scene. And they're screaming and they're trying to get out, and then they lose the keys, and there's such a fun little scene to see of 12 and Robin Hood. I like that. Yeah. Then we have 12 in this workplace, and he meets Marion, who's locked up, and he saves everyone from the dungeon. 12 does, and he gets the metal and starts blasting the robots. So they're very easy to defeat, these robots. But then again, it is the medieval era, so you haven't got normal day items to take down the robots as much as the modern day era. Yeah, we get Marion yet again, a cardboard cutout in some ways. Oh, thank you, Doctor. Kisses him and runs off. We don't know who. We can tell it's Marion, but other than that, that's it. And really, you can't really tell. I didn't know it was Marion until the TARDIS disappeared, and then she was there, and Robin Hood had a picture of her. I mean, we wouldn't really get that aspect. I think that was maybe the whole idea, but yeah. What else? Yeah, Robin Hood defeats the Sheriff of Nottingham. He gets killed off in some way, turns into gold. Robot spaceship needs gold. That was the whole idea, to blow up and get to the promised land for the robots, but for the sheriff, he thinks he's going to rule everything. Yeah, they need gold. They got the golden arrow. The golden arrow scene between Robin Hood and 12, that was a fun scene as well. I like that. Then 12 actually cheated, which leads Robin Hood, 12 and Clara to do the bow and arrow, save the day, and they all go off, and Robin Hood and Merry's men start singing, and yeah. 12 leaves Robin Hood's Marion as a present, and 12 and Clara's judging I'm as real as you are. That was quite a nice little thing to end on. Yeah, 9 out of 10. It's just a fun episode. I mean, obviously, if I would love the Robin Hood from my era to come into this, that would be amazing. But yeah, this is my childhood hero and my other childhood hero meeting, so I have to enjoy it. Now we have Listen, and Listen is basically just 12th Doctor as the Doctor as a kid, and Clara touches him from going in time by accident. Listens in. We actually get to see the Doctor as a kid, and it's not his parents, I don't think. I'm not sure whether it was his parents or not. It could just be people he looked after, because they did get it taken away to the academy at age of 8 years old, so maybe it could be the Doctor before he's going off to the academy, or maybe not. But anyway, he's in this barn and he's crying and stuff like that. And Clara comes out, and before he's asleep, realising she thinks it's Danny, but it's not, it's the Doctor, and touches him by accident in his sleep. No pun intended, you dirty people. Yeah, she touches him in his sleep, which leads him to he thinks it's a nightmare, and Clara goes off in the TARDIS, and 12 has this theory of, is he alone or not? And the bed theory of people hand reaching in the bed and stuff like that, which everyone has that little scare factor of, oh, who's in the closet, or who's in underneath the bed, or who's knocking on that door, you know, that aspect of being scared as a kid of the dark, which later appears throughout the whole episode. Then we have Danny and Clara trying to go on a date. Yet again, there's not much there, but it's Clara trying to have a relationship, and we see that juggle of her real life and the Doctor life, really. And yeah, it don't go well. The date, twice it don't go well, when Clara asks the Doctor to bring her back again, and then it doesn't go well. Then we have Danny from the future, her future family member, even though, spoilers, Danny dies in the finale, and Clara dies in the series 9. I mean, how the hell has Danny's ancestor of some kind, and then he gives the family heirloom to Clara saying as a family member? I mean, continuity in that is just wrong and what? But then again, never apply a logic to a Doctor episode. Yeah, so listen, is there's no monster here. It's quite scary. I remember being scared when I first watched this because it's quite an eerie episode. And it is kind of still eerie with that under the bed figure. You never know if it's just one of his mates playing a trick or it's just a monster under the bed. So yeah. There's not much to say other than that, and we get a War Doctor reference, which was quite nice as well. Listen, 8 out of 10. Yeah, listen. Now we're on to Time Heist, and yeah, basically they're on a heist, and the 12th Doctor, basically this monster's being locked up, and it is a love light. It's basically like Hyde from Series 7, if you think about it. This monster wants to be with another monster, but it's getting threatened, and it wants to be in love with his girlfriend monster, and it's being threatened, and it has to do whatever this company asks it to do, otherwise its girlfriend will get killed off or whatever. So yeah, the monster's doing its job to protect the one it loves. So it's killing people who try and take from the bank of Calaras or whatever it is. I'm just going to call it the bank. And yeah, we have this robot character who's been he's lost his memories, and he's lost his family, his friends, and his memories have been wiped, and that's sad and stuff like that. So he somehow agrees to go on a heist with the 12th Doctor, and this other woman that can turn into other people like chameleon. She's shapeshifter, and she can touch things and hold and how long she wants. So she helps the 12th Doctor as well, because they all touch this worm, which is a key thing throughout it. First, I think, happened in Series 7. It may have happened beyond that in the classic era, I do not know. That these worms you touch from Series 7, it made Strax forget and think he was getting ran over by a cab, if you remember that episode from the Snowman. But yeah, then we have it again in this episode in Series 8, and we have it again in the Face the Raven. We've been in these lights things to make people see whatever they want to see. So yeah, these are key things throughout Moffat's era, these worms. Anyway, touch these worms and you forget stuff and you don't know why you're there and stuff like that for the 24 hours or whatever. And 12th Doctor is made this heist up, basically. And then he makes the past Doctor go on a mission to, without noting, he's on a heist set from himself, timey-wimey. Basically, 12th Doctor is behind it all, even though the 12th Doctor that we see doesn't know that he's behind it yet. Yeah, if you're following. Clara's going to go out and do her own thing. 12th Doctor brings her along. She didn't want to, and she goes off with 12. It's basically a run around the bank, trying to get into the bank and break in. And then we learn about these characters that have gone along the way. You know, this shapeshifter and this robot person, which we also get glimpses of all these aliens when the monsters coming towards them, trying to suck their brains out, and this robot is showing all these criminals and stuff. And there's also a criminal cartoon character, I do believe, in there as well. That's quite famous. So yet again, referencing Big Finish or characters. That was quite nice. Yeah. Then we also have the monster itself. I've talked about that, and we have this clone of this main woman who's head of the company. She got loads of clones of herself and stuff like that, and firing and willing to kill off all the people. She grows old at some point, and she calls the Doctor up to save the day, really, which is a timey-wimey thing. So she's the one that causes her company to demise, but also the Doctor gives her a number to do that because he knows she's going to call him in the future to come here and do the bank. Really, it's timey-wimey, but it's less complicated if you watch it. Yeah, there's not much to it, and obviously they get the monster with his loved one again, and the company gets shut down in some way, the bank does. And then you have 12 go off with Clara, and the 12 drops off the robot and the shapeshifter after they help them. Also, they have a scene where they're going to die, and you think they're going to die, but it's actually a teleport of some kind, because 12th Doctor would never kill someone out of nowhere. Yeah, 8 out of 10. It's an enjoyable run around. It's not anything, it's just a fun story, really. Now we're on to The Caretaker, and yeah. So, The Caretaker is one of my favourite stories from Series 8. I'm just going to say it out there, and it's going to be a 10 out of 10. I really enjoy the episode. I whipped down a 9 out of 10, but you know what? I really enjoy it, so I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. It's just 12th Doctor in a school, Coal Hill School as well. Clara working and trying to be with Danny, and then Danny finds out about the whole 12th Doctor and Clara thing. Is it a surprise play? Yeah. Then we have this robot that's just killing people, Scarlet's Blitzer or whatever you want to call it, and it's just shooting people down. It's quite fun to see. And then obviously Missy returns, and the dead people are in the afterlife, and Missy looks after them and tries to find out what's happened, have you met the Doctor and stuff like that. And then we also have, we also see one of Missy's minions helping her as well, which we'll later see throughout the series. We also then have Danny, and we see the 12 versus Danny moment, and the watch that's invisible. I'm definitely confiscating that watch. Yeah, that was a quite nice thing to see. Yet again, the 12th Doctor doing gadgets, which is nice. And the only reason 12 is working at Coal Hill School is to plant these things to catch the robot. Then we also have this little girl called Courtney, who's very gobby and stuff like that, and she causes the teachers hell. And she somehow gets on board the TARDIS, and 12 lets her along when he's warning her off. Humans keep out or something like that. He puts a sign on, and obviously she's going to ignore it. Courtney's a very alright character. I mean, she's not the best, and she's better in this than she is in the Kill the Moon, I'm going to say. Clara is stratagemed, and we suddenly see another side to the 12th Doctor with Danny saying he's like a general, and Clara starts to see that as well. 12th Doctor gives orders, 12th Doctor says jump, and Clara will say how high, really. And we start to see that aspect, and Clara's demise from Series 9, we start to see more of her trying to be like the 12th Doctor, which is going to end to her demise, and Danny can kind of see that she's changing because of him, and not in the best way, possibly. Scarlet Blitzer is easily taken down. It's just a fun story, and I really enjoy it, and there's not much more to say other than it's a good, fun story to run around and do. So yeah, definitely check out that if you haven't checked out any of these episodes and you're just watching. Caretaker, go for it. It's a fun, upbeat story, and if you don't think you enjoy it, go and have a wee watch.